Okay, welcome back guys. Now today I think we're going to bleed the system on them high control valves and maybe take it round a block and give it a proper little drive and get a good feel of it, because all we've done so far is put it onto a trailer to go to the NEC Classic Motor Show and back, and we had a little disaster with the high control valves exploding, as you know. I think you remember last week we got this started for the first time, but there's one thing I forgot to do, and that was to test whether the windows worked on the switches, whether they went up and down or not. And okay, I'm like a bit of an excitable kid, so come on please, just humour me. And if they do work, fingers crossed, that's less work for me to do, isn't it? So here we go. Okay, so one thing I didn't do when I started the car last week was I didn't test the windows. Now if you look at these windows, how straight they are, how they've all come right down nice and, you know, nice and even, non-sticking up, that kind of tells me that the windows are working perfectly before the car was laid up. So I'll live in hope again, but let's just give it a try and see if they work, because that will be a real result. Something's jamming it there. It's moving, but it's jammed. There's something sticking in the way. But I'll tell you what. It's not bad, 3 out of 4, is it? What a result. And that's just something, it's like a bit of window felt or something in the way, so I'll just get on that. Yes, less work. Another milestone. So yeah, you remember last week I replaced both the rear high control valves. Now, even though these are self-bleeding, just for safety, I'm going to open the T-junction bleed nipple at the rear of the car on both sides, just to make sure I'm getting a bit of fluid through. But first, let's run it up to temperature and get the pressure up. Don't you just love the smell of old, stale fuel in the mornings? No. So with the car safely standing on its own weight on ramps, and away we go. Now the one on the left bleeds pretty well. That's plenty of fluid, that's healthy. And then over to the other side. Now over to your one. Now this side doesn't seem to want to bleed very well. Quick check in the boot. Make sure none of the pipes are leaking into the boot. That looks all good. Okay. So if I can just show you this. See the gap here? And this gap here. It might not be absolutely perfect, but I'll show you a picture now of the way it was sagging at the back. So even just with a quick bleed, it's basically taking the car to the correct height. So when that's down on the ground, it should look completely even all the way. And as I've explained, these are designed so, say I was to open the boot and, you know, me and somebody else sat in the boot, you'd see the car go down and then it'd come up, sorry, it'd come up and then down to the level it should be. So it keeps it an even level. Whether you got 20 bags of cement in the back or 5 people in the car, you know, it'll just retain its correct height. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I mean, this side didn't bleed as well as the other side, but I'll have to have another quick look at that anyway. But yeah, pleased, job done. Now what I've decided to do here is remove this pipe which goes from the restrictor valve to the T-junction, which then goes to the calipers. And if I take this off and leave it off, it'll either gravity feed overnight or we can sort something out in the morning. Okay, so it's the next day, and when I explained yesterday that the height control valve on this side wouldn't bleed quite as well as the other one, I thought what I'd do, I'd back the car up, start the car, back it up, drive it forward, just rev it a little bit with the bleed nipple out and one of the pipes off, because there was no fluid. It seemed like no fluid was getting through the valve itself. Now, normally I'd take it all apart and clean all the ball bearings and all the cups out and then put it all back together, oil it up, put it all back together. But I just thought to try this little thing first. If there was something blocking it or a bit of crap in there, I'd just sort of rev it a bit, just reverse it down a path, bring it forward, and hopefully that would pop through any crap that was in the system or in the pipes. And if you want to take a little look, it seems to have done the trick. Look on this garage floor here. But no, my luck, it's probably one of the pipes has popped or a couple of them old cruddy pipes popped, and it's a whole load of work. All right, let's get it up and see, shall we? So up top you can see I've replaced the pipe that I removed last night. Now these torsion bars are fitted as body strengtheners on the convertibles. Now there's a restrictor valve up here, so I'm just going to remove these bars out of the way so I can take a closer look. Now I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure what these restrictor valves do, but I know when they become full of crud and blocked up, they can cause all kinds of problems. I'm going to strip one of these in a future episode, clean it up, and then I'll show you how it all goes back into place again. I've got the doors strapped on, so I've got to be careful, but I'm going to take it around the block and just see how the gear changes are, how the car runs in general, and yeah, just assess it really. As far as I can see, there's no leaks, all nice and dry under there. It's a good sign. It's a bit lower this side, but as I say, as I drive it round, it'll sort of find its height and just settle in. Yeah, because they're self-bleeding, these height control valves. So anyway, we'll drive it around the block a few times, let it find its height and see what the gear changes are like and see how we go. Feels nice and smooth, changes feel nice and smooth. It's a bit rattly because of the doors, but there's no locks in there, so I've just got them tied up. We just wanted to get a feel of the gearbox and how pokey it was, or how smoothly it ran or didn't run. On a hill, give it some. Oh yeah, feel that. Wow. Yeah, plenty of power. And the steering, I have to say, feels lovely, really smooth. Gear change seems nice, plenty of power, nice and smooth. That should have settled by now. Let's have a little look when we get in. And you know what? That wasn't at all bad considering I was driving with the bloody parking brake still on. Hey ho, I didn't go very far. Hopefully there's no damage. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull the car out onto the cobbles just so you can see how the car sits, because it looks to me like it's sitting pretty nice, but in here it's a bit cramped and there's boxes of stuff everywhere. So yeah, it's that age-old thing. You do your garage up and 2 weeks later it's worse than before you even started, 6 months before. But these are mostly bits for the car here in the boxes, so you know they'll all be going back on in due course. Let me pull the car out and then we'll assess how it sits, see what you think. Well, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that seems pretty damn straight. I mean, we've got 4 fingers here, yeah. Same there, 4 fingers. Four fingers. Aye, we've got 3 fingers there, but you know, considering it's only been driven around the block. Oh, hello, mate. 1 second, one of my co-workers. Yeah, considering it's only been driven around the block, it's basically found its level. And these cobbles, I don't know whether you can see this, but we're actually on a slope here and they're pretty uneven in places, so you know, I'm happy with that anyway. I think it's another job ticked off the list, and there's no leaks, which is amazing. And you know, I think if anything, this is kind of the enjoyable part of the journey. You know, I was going to say once the car's being painted, but I know I'm going to paint the car grey. But you know, I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but the more I look at this red, it's starting to grow on me, you know. And I've had so many messages off you guys saying, no, leave it red, it's my favourite colour, it looks fantastic. And I am a red. So really well and truly I should leave it red, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is the enjoyable part because, as I said, all the parts are sitting there in boxes. Most of the chrome's already been done, and whatever chrome needs redoing, then I'm going to take it to Douglas Chrome. Of course, you know, my preferred chrome places, and they always do a fantastic job, as you know. And don't forget there's the Bentley. The chrome on that needs to be done as well. And as I say, I'm going to do both these cars side by side and compare the differences as we go along, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting year. Anyway, what is it, mate? Is it din time? Is it? Yeah, looking at the clock, I think it's time for them to be fed. So yeah, come on, mate. So after din-dins, something a little bit different. I really need to show a little bit of love to my old Mercedes estate, which has been a fantastic workhorse. Now, I just want to try this product out that I've heard so much about. Okay, so just wanted to take a closer look at this. This is by a company called Race Glaze, and it's a polycarbonate headlight restoration kit. This is basically what you get. You get all the instructions, all the various bits and bobs. It tells you exactly how to do it step by step. It just takes a couple of minutes apparently. So yeah, I read about it in one of the classic car magazines, which was giving it a full 10 out of 10. And basically I just want to see what all the fuss is about. So let's have a go, shall we? See what it's all about. Now, this is what commonly happens to a lot of headlights on a car that's maybe 10, 15 years old. It's to do with sun damage and weather damage and whatever else. And your light just loses that crystal clear look. It becomes cloudy, yellowy, and it loses its potency, really. You know, when you're on a country road, for instance, you end up having to put your main beam on because you can't see a single thing, and then you end up pissing all the other drivers off. So as you can understand, it's not ideal, and it improves the look of the car as well. It gives it that, you know, it makes it look like a 5-year-old car instead of a 25-year-old car, which this is. So let's have a go, shall we? So according to the instructions, it says at one side of the pad, get the size of a 10p piece and just work it into the light. And apparently it's pretty immediate. You just use like small little circles, just overlapping like that. A little bit more. And this just goes on dry. Make sure your headlight's clean, it says, before you apply. You know, get rid of any flies or bugs or anything else. and then just gradually work it in like that. And apparently the results are immediate, so we'll see, shall we? It says 1 to 2 minutes, there's no need to wait. Let's see. Don't know whether I've done it enough, but you can see what's coming off there. Okay, so no need to wait. Let's have a look, shall we? I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty good. I might give it another little go. But it says after you've done that anyway, see the difference between this one here. What I'll do, it says using the other side of the sponge, I'll get a clean bit there. This is less coarse apparently, and you do exactly the same. I don't know whether this is a further protectant or protector. I'm just following the instructions. Okay. With the other side of the cloth. Okay, that's just a rough go. That's not bad. Quite impressed. Look at that to that. Now just look at that. Now I think that's a massive difference when you compare it to this. I mean, look at that when you look at the front of the car. The ones on the left are yellow and cloudy, and these ones are absolutely crystal clear. Look at that. Just look at that. You know, it's always interesting to try products that have had like a 10 out of 10 in a classic car magazine. Some of them turn out a huge disappointment, but others like this, I mean, I've seen people take the whole day doing this job, you know, flatten it down, going down through the various papers, getting the machines on it. This has taken what, in real time, 6 minutes? And look at the results. I mean, I could go a bit longer on this, but I'm absolutely amazed with that. I mean, look at them, they're crystal clear. So yeah, that for me is a massive thumbs up. And you know what? The only thing I've got against it is now I've got to wash the whole car because it's putting the rest of it to shame. Hey ho. And another thing which required my attention was this tensioner pulley that decided to collapse right in front of my very eyes. So then it was a quick trip down to GSF to get the said part, and it was straight to the job in hand. You know, it's a good job I wasn't driving. Just look at the state of that. This could have been an absolute disaster. And whilst I'm in there, I might as well replace that belt. Oof. And of course, the great British weather, on cue. Why does it always start to rain every time you go outside to work on a car? So with that out the way, and the sun out again, let's jump back on the rolls. So, you remember when I was driving the car, I was getting like a squeaky noise from the exhaust. It sounded like it was the exhaust anyway, so I'm just going to take a closer look. So, just put the camera down there. Now the noise you could hear is kind of like now you can see the wells come away there, see on the bracket. And I think what happens is sometimes the stainless is galvanized, or it's got like a surface on it, and if you don't take the surface off, then it's clear the weld just doesn't bite. And I think once we've driven it around and there's been a bit of vibration, that's just completely snapped off. Yeah, so let's get this cleaned up and get a nice weld on it. I'm going to grind it all off nice and clean. I'll get my Artec welder out. You know, for years I had a Clark 151 MIG welder, and it was great. You know, it served me well, but after 25 years you sort of get to the point you think, I need an upgrade now. It's time I upgraded and got a better welder, because 25 years, I mean, it's a quarter of a century, isn't it? So I went with an Artec welder. Their MIG is absolutely fantastic. And I didn't realise how I was kind of struggling for all them years because my welder was dated. And it's only when you get a new one and you upgrade it and you think, wow. Anyway, let's get set up. So, this is Artec's 181. As you can see, got all the controls and the adjustments. I've kind of got this set on a setting that I'm really happy with. I've done quite a bit of welding with this now, and I'm really happy with the results. So I've got it on a fixed setting, and if I need to change it a little bit up or down, you know, it's kind of thereabouts anyway. But what a great piece of kit. Anyway, let's get stuck in. And just before I go, now we've got it back in the garage, let's just check. Yeah. Dry as a bone, no leaks. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. So that's another job ticked off the list. And once again, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. And if you haven't already and you like what you see, don't forget to click that button and like and subscribe. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you all next time.